What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Memphis Conservative channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that like button. And please share this video and comment down below because I want to know your thoughts about this one. So, shout out to Breitbart for this one. Those of you that haven't heard what happened today in the U.S. Supreme Court. So, without further ado, drum roll, please. The U.S. Supreme Court voids race-based redistricting map in Louisiana. So let's get right into this, shall we? The U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday struck down a race-based redistricting map in Louisiana, ruling that the state's second black majority district violates the Constitution. The conservative majority ruled 6-3 that the map is unconstitutional, gerrymander, by stopped short of scrapping Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was designed to enforce the Constitution, not collide with it. Unfortunately, lower courts have sometimes applied this court's Section 2 proceedings in a way that that forces states to engage in the very race-based discrimination that the Constitution forbids. Justice Alito wrote for the majority. This tension between Section 2 and the Constitution came to a head when Louisiana redrew its congressional districts after the 2020 census. In 2022, a federal judge in the middle district of Louisiana held that the map adopted by the state legislature likely violated Section 2 because it did not include an additional majority black district. He continued, but when the state drew a new map that contained such a district, its new map was challenged as a racial gerrymander. A three-judge circuit in the Western District of Louisiana held that the new map violated the Equal Protection Clause, and the state appealed to this court. The Supreme Court heard arguments in Louisiana versus Calligas on October 15th. The court heard arguments in the last term in June, but agreed to hear another round and ultimately considered whether race or politics was the state's motivation and whether compliance with the Voting Rights Act justified the intentional use of race in drawing legislative districts. For over 30 years, we have assumed for the sake of argument that the answer is yes. And we have gone farther and assumed that it is enough if a strong basis in evidence for thinking that the Voting Rights Act required race-based conduct, Alito wrote. But allowing race to play any part in the government decision making represents a departure from the constitutional rule that applies in almost every other context. These and other problems convinced us that the time had come to resolve whether compliance with the Voting Rights Act can and indeed provide a compelling reason for a race-based redistricting. We now answer that question. Compliance with Section 2 as properly construed can provide such a reason. Correctly understood, Section 2 does not impose liability at odds with the Constitution, and it should not have imposed liability on Louisiana for its 2022 map. He wrote, compliance with Section 2 thus could not justify the state's use of race-based redistricting here. The state's attempt to satisfy the middle district's ruling, although understandable, was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, and we therefore affirm the decision below. Justice Alina Calgan wrote a dissent for the three liberal-leaning judges. calling the consequences of the decision likely to be far-reaching and grave. Today's decision renders Section 2 all but a dead letter, Congress wrote. The case could massively, I'm sorry, yeah, the case could massively impact midterm elections and the 2028 election. Not Analysts by the New York Times and a left wing group called Fair Fight Action found that between 12 and 19 Democratic congressional districts could be redrawn into GOP ones. The case is Louisiana versus Callison, number 24 through 109 in the Supreme Court of the United States. So basically, sum this up a little bit of what this right here means. Like this part right here, even New York Times and Fair Fight Action are left wing magazines, or even they said this between 12 to 19 Democratic congressional districts could be withdrawn into GOP ones, which means that's how many seats that the Democrats is about to lose. See, when it comes down to this gerrymandering stuff and this redistricting maps, redrawing maps and stuff like that, keep in mind, Democrats have been doing this for a long time. They've been doing this for years. And the Section 2 part of the Voters' Right Act of 1965 is why they got rid of it, because that was put in place, like, for example, back in our grandma days and stuff like that, where they was trying to, when they had a right to vote and they go to the vote place to vote, and you had racist people saying, boy, or the N word or whatever, and was intimidate them that they can't vote, and trying to stop them from voting. That's why that right there was, had came into place, which was understandable back then. What voting polls are we going at now today, where somebody's standing right there in front of you like, hey, you can't come in here and vote. We're not letting you vote today, boy. Or we're not letting you vote today, N-word. Who's intimidating us from going to vote nowadays? So, yeah, get rid of that Section 2 part. We don't need it anymore. They're not doing it anymore. But Democrats over the years have been using that to their advantage. That's how they got so many seats. But see, now that this right here is struck down, you're talking about 12 to 19 seats that they about to lose. It's actually anywhere between 20 to 30, because if I'm not mistaken, I think in Carolina, some parts of Carolina, they just found out, they just found 34,000 dead people that were still on their voter rolls out there. So that's way, so there's some more less people that's also, so Democrats, a lot of them are going to lose a lot of seats. Right now, this is a win-win. This looking good going toward the midterm, even if they haven't passed the SAVE Act yet. I don't think they're going to do that. John Thune them, they holding that up. But this right here works in a lot of favor too. But the thing is, got to get out there and vote for your local elections across the country. Got to get out there and vote. This is a help. Like for us, Louisiana, this is a big help. For us, the Republican side, so you got to get out there and vote. I always, when I try to tell people, even I tell people in person, and I try to mention this as much as I can on my channel, your local elections matter way more than the presidential elections. And your politicians that's in your city or your state or whatever, they knows that. They know that. Like, I live in Memphis, Tennessee. These politicians here, they in Memphis, they know that our local elections matter. It's not too many, they don't have too many Republicans at all running for the local elections here for things. I went and voted a week or two ago when it started. It wasn't that you had the if their name wasn't already on there on the Republican side, whoever I was going to pick, you had to write their name in. It's not too many that's running on, uh, that's what's going on here. Now I'm gonna get right back out there as when they come around about voting for the governor of Marsha Blackburn. She got my vote. That's all top. She got my vote. I voted for the Shelby County mayor. Only had like one or two people that's running for the primary for that. It's early voting, so it's the primary. But everything that's been, that's going on here for the elections is majority of my are Democrats here. This is a blue city. Memphis is a blue city. Tennessee's a red state. Thank God for that. But Memphis is a blue city. Don't get me wrong. Nashville is a blue city, but you know what the difference is? They got a bunch of politicians and stuff down there they got, excuse my language, but they got some damn sense. They running stuff how it's supposed to be ran. Like now here in Memphis, the state about to take over the school system here. I want to know what took them so long. They have found all kind of misuse of money, abuse of money. Now they're getting mad and trying to call themselves trying to sue the state because the state about to, they this close right here, and they about to take over the school system. And what they found, they only found 25% of that stuff. I think most stuff's supposed to come out around June, but so far 25% of. As a matter of fact, I did a video on it. I think I did anywhere between a 40-minute to an hour and 10 minutes or so video on that about what all they was finding. Found all kind of stuff. That man said he been doing this stuff for years, for decades. So he ain't never seen nothing like this. Instead of the ones that's on the school board and stuff, instead of them taking accountability, they're not taking accountability at all. They asking them, where this money go? Where's the money for this? Don't nobody know nothing. Don't nobody know where the money went. But this is a good thing right here. To get back on topic. But yeah, this is a good thing. Like I said, there's no reason why to still keep this because Democrats was using this right here as their advantage, and they've been doing it for a long time. Yeah, the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Yeah, take it out because there's nobody intimidating anybody that's going up to the voting polls, the voter place or voting booth, and turning them around and intimidating them and threatening them. You go in there and vote, and we'll do this to you and all that. Ain't none of that going on no more. Just like the birthright citizenship. You know the truth about the birthright citizenship? It need to be get thrown away. There's nobody. Slaves are not coming over here on the boats anymore. They just been letting a lot of people from other countries and stuff use that as their advantage when they come over here to have a baby over here on this soil, on U.S. soil. You automatically, the child and the parents automatically legal. No, that wasn't birthright citizenship was not for that. But they kept using that to their advantage all these years, but they haven't ruled on that yet. I don't know how that right there is going to play out with the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, I hope it plays out like it's supposed to play out. But this is a good thing. And so when the Democrats, when they normally, it was running the victory lap of what they was trying to do with the redistricting map and redrawing the map up there in Virginia. Boy, they was running. I'm talking about that one not too long ago. What, 3 weeks or so ago? They was running like they was running a victory lap. But now that this didn't happen, oh, they got their panties in a bunch now. When they do stuff, it's fine. But when these folks over here finally do the same thing or whatever that they done, oh, it's a problem. Like, for example, they want to get rid of ICE so bad. They want to abolish it. Means get rid of it. We were trying to get rid of ICE when Obama was in office, and he deported way more people than Trump did. He even gave CNN a ride along to ride with the ICE agents to go detain and arrest illegals. Gave them a ride along. I did a video on that. Matter of fact, that was my very first video. I only been doing this for about what 2-3 months now. Well, I want to know what's the difference. Everything went smooth when Obama did it. No judges jumped in and tried to block him for doing it. They didn't say nothing about he was separating people, kids and stuff from their families, locking them in cages. As a matter of fact, Obama was the one that built those cages down there that you said that they claimed that they've been locking the kids up in away from their parents. What else? No rioters, no protesters, none of that. And when Trump come in and do the mass deportation, it's a problem. ICE got to be gone. We got to abolish ICE. How's this? I don't get it. But this is a good thing. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Thanks for stopping by at the Memphis Conservative channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that like button and share this video. Peace.